Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Tigers Baseball Podcast. This episode actually recorded on Tuesday, September 13th, 2022, only because it's like midnight now. It's actually somewhere around 20 after 12, so it's late. But you know what? Better late than never, so we're going to stick with that motto and hope we got it right. Not much to report on the injury front. Jonathan Schoop came back over the weekend, looked good in the field. Of course, Austin Meadows is still out and will be for the rest of the season, so not a lot to report there. I do believe Miguel Cabrera has come back. I didn't see anything, but I figure he has because Josh Lester was sent back down to AAA Toledo. Actually, with Schoop coming up, that probably was what prompted that move. So, although Cabrera was on the 10-day IL retroactive to September 3rd, so he probably will be coming back today or tomorrow. We'll see. Tonight's magic number is 21. Yes, 21, folks. That is the amount of times that the Detroit Tigers have been shut out this year. They are 54 and 88 now after tonight's 7-0 loss to the Astros. And of course their 4-0 loss to Kansas City on Sunday. So they're 54 and 87 because they were 51 and 85 going into play on Wednesday, and of course they then beat LA on Wednesday and then Kansas City Friday and Saturday. Actually got a series win out in Kansas City, which was nice. They're now 7-9 against Kansas City this season with 3 more games left toward the end of the year. So, we'll see. Maybe they can actually win a season series against somebody. Kansas City would be the team to do it against because they've also got games left against Chicago and Minnesota, and they're not winning those. They're also so far behind Chicago as far as the season series goes. It's pretty much a foregone conclusion that series is over. Not that the Tigers would mail it in. If they did, I would be very upset with A.J. Hinch. I would be very disappointed in A.J. Hinch. But he's not the type to let his teams do that, so that's a good thing. With all that being said, Detroit kind of mailed it in on yesterday and today. Had a getaway game against Kansas City yesterday afternoon. Tyler Alexander was beaten by Brady Singer and the bullpen from Kansas City. It's really interesting to see the way this offense works because those 3 games that they won, the offense looked really good. They scored 5 runs, 10 runs, and 8 runs in those 3 games. Well, the last 2, they've scored 0. So it's one of those things where it's just like, oh, well, I didn't expect that to happen. So good to see Ryan Kreidler get his first Major League home run. He got it in L.A. in front of his family. That was also the day that Spencer Torkelson hit a 434-foot homer. Good to see the swings from Spencer Torkelson getting better. I had an engagement tonight. I wasn't able to watch tonight's game, but he had a really good road trip, was hitting the ball hard, and that's what A.J. Hinch wants to see is hard hit, is hard contact. He firmly believes that that's the first sign of a developing hitter is how hard they hit the baseball. And it means that you're seeing the ball well and that you're getting a good swing on it, which, I can respect that. So, look, until this team starts walking more and stops striking out and actually hits the baseball for some power, some extra base power, look, there's nothing wrong with home runs. They're great. But give me a few doubles, a couple triples here and there, I'll be happy. Because you hit a double with a guy on first, at the very least, you've got second and third if the guy doesn't score. You hit a double with 2 out and a guy on first, he's probably going to score on that hit. You hit a double with a guy on second, he's definitely going to score. Unless you're Miguel Cabrera. But at the end of the day, you need guys hitting for extra base power. Now, Eric Haas has looked like a monster in the last 10, 12 games or so. And it's good to see Spencer Torkelson possibly coming around. Ryan Kreidler looks like he's actually going to be producing up here in the big leagues. Jeimer Candelario looked like he was starting to get hot, and then he cooled off. So we'll see where that goes. But ultimately, it's a good thing to see these guys. It's good to see these guys playing well and hitting well, starting to develop, especially these younger guys, Riley Green and Spencer Torkelson and Ryan Kreidler. It's good to see these guys coming up and playing. And Kerry Carpenter is hitting the baseball well too. In Detroit's 5-4 win over the Angels on Wednesday, Kerry Carpenter, Spencer Torkelson, and Ryan Kreidler all hit home runs. That's the first time in Tigers history that they've had 3 rookies hit home runs in the same game. So I got the chance to witness history. It was great. So with that, this is a short pod. It's not going to be a very long one. There's not a lot to talk about, really, other than the fact that, the Tigers spat the bit yesterday and looked awful tonight. Eduardo Rodriguez basically fell apart. So we'll see, where that leaves them as far as the bullpen goes for the rest of the week. So with that, I want to thank Anchor for distributing the podcast. Check us out on our YouTube channel. I'd really appreciate it. Follow us on Twitter @Podcast Tigers. You can get in touch with the show via email, tigersbaseballpodcast@gmail.com. It's the world's longest email address. I'm proud of that. Hit us up on the Twitter. Leave comments on the YouTube page. And until next week, thanks so much for listening, everybody. Go Tigers.